Which microphone? Can you hear me through? Okay, now we have Carmichael. I was gonna get a smoothie from the smoothie place right here. I had one there yesterday, and I was like, yeah, but it's not organic. And then I was like, there's a Whole Foods right there. So then I was like, oh, I'll go get bananas, blueberries, and some soy milk, and that'll be my smoothie. I'll make the smoothie in my mouth and in my. Whoa, whoa. It's like having my own personal vacuum cleaner. I dropped a banana on my shirt. You just got it for me. Cleaned it up. Oh, it's cold. I'm on recirculate. You know, I'm so used to it being so freaking hot that now that it's 77 degrees, I don't know what to do. It's crazy. I guess let's put that down there. When I open that up, that'll be a surprise. You guys want to see where I am? Boop, boop, doop, 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 boop. Let's switch to maps. Maps. I had this idea about controlling my backpack from my cell phone remotely because I can VNC into my backpack. I was trying to think of it would be fun. What I could do. I still want to use the gimbal. I still haven't done the remote gimbal thing yet. There's so many things that I still want to do. I don't know if we'll end up getting time to. All right. Oh, it's 3 bananas and a pint? A pint? A pint of blueberries? I love that they were measuring it by dollars per pint. The abbreviation. Why didn't they do it per ounce? They're crazy. I wasn't here. Where was that? That was a good deal. That would have been $4.99 for the double size. Should have bought a whole bunch more when I was there. Not here. Here's. I mean, each cup is 9 grams of protein. So that's 9. 8 grams per dollar of protein. The question is like, why are we eating meat? I was explaining this to my dad yesterday on the phone. The efficiency of cows is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Okay, let's do the math. Let's do the math before we get wild. Oh no, don't open DaVinci. Just open DaVinci. No. Force quit. Do not open DaVinci while I'm streaming. That would be not good. I mean, the computer can do it. I've done actually live streams on my backpack editing. Have I done that? Oh yeah, I did. That's amazing. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Testing, testing. 1, 2. Okay. Testing. Is it on this microphone? Testing, testing. So with cows, yeah, there we go. So with cows, they eat corn, let's say, and you also need water and alfalfa. Oh, alfalfa to feed the corn. So let's say I had 1 acre, and it was only feeding cows. How many cows? How many pounds of? How many? Let's go ahead. Protein. How many grams of protein per year from 1 acre of farm versus 1 pound of protein of just vegetables and fruits, and how efficient that would be. So we're trying to compare the efficiency of purely cows versus just plants. Same biomass. Same biomass? No, but you'd be growing them different stuff. See, you got a lady. You should ask me. I think she got the same one I did. The berry one. It was pretty good. Is camera cockeyed? Alert! 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 Composition alert! Composition alert! The composition isn't good, Buddha. Okay. I've spent half the day gone just sitting here texting people that are messaging me. It's fine, thank you, I appreciate it. But a little late. Alright. Let's throw these bananas away. Let's do something progressive. Key edible protein produced per acre per year. Yes. Okay, not music. Definitely not. Wait. He was like, what's up? Yes, 1 pint. 1 pint. 1 pint, Buddha. Okay, wait, stay. Should I just turn the AC off? Do I even need it? What if we just do air but no AC? I haven't done that. Alright. Back to the regularly scheduled program. So, if we count the entire land system, a major global food system analysis estimates the land needed to produce a cool, 100 grams of protein. That's my question, basically.
I'm asking the right question. So 100 grams of protein is 163 square meters for beef. Wait, 100 grams is a tenth of a kilogram. It's like barely a quarter pound. How many square meters is an acre? One acre is 4,000 square meters. Okay, okay. So, okay, well, okay, here's the let me just keep reading because this is where it gets freaking crazy. I didn't even get to when you start seeing the other numbers, you're like, "Oh my God." Okay. So to get 100 grams of protein that you eat from beef takes 164 meters. I'm rounding up. It's 163.6. So I'm going to round up to 164 square meters. So it takes 164 square meters of beef, or 3.4 for peas, 2.2 square meters for tofu, and 3 square meters for corn. Oh my God. And four, I thought the math was 40 times. Am I right? Was I read all this 40 times? No, 48 times. Oh. Since an acre, oh, go to the math. Since an acre is 4,000 square meters. Okay. Works out to, in 1 acre, in 1 year. Okay. Ready for this? So if I have 1 acre, I'm able to get 5 pounds of cows per year. No wonder they weren't growing cows on any of the farms. On Sagamore Hill, they had to grow all of the food, but didn't grow cows there because they're talking about inefficient growing cattle. But dairy's a different story. Okay, so if you get 5 pounds of beef or 40 pounds of apples, 5 pounds of beef or 122 pounds of legumes, 5 pounds of beef or 172 pounds of potatoes, you can get 5 pounds of beef or 194 pounds of grains. This is where the fun one goes. You ready? You can get 5 pounds of beef or you can get 262 pounds of peas per acre. If you want If you have 1 acre and you're just growing cows and you kill the cows and eat them, you will only get 5 pounds of beef per acre. If you want to get corn, you will get 288 pounds per acre. Again, 5 pounds of beef, 262 pounds of peas. 5 pounds of beef, 288 pounds of corn. I'm going to remind you, we're growing all of this corn to feed the cows that we then eat. So how many does 5 times go into 288? That's 20, 40, 46, no, 40, no, 50, 56 times. Let's say 50 times. Because it's 0.5 pounds of beef. I was doing the math on that. Okay, so that's 50 times more pounds of corn than you get beef. But then let's say, oh no, no, no. I wanted to do some soy. So I want to grow some. Where did I put it? I was going to do a whole demonstration right now. Oh, it's back here. This. This is what I'm saying. Okay? This is literally just soy milk. Dude, we're not even going to talk about dairy milk. Let's just stick with the soy idea here. So, let me get this right. You have all these farmers using all their electricity and all. We're wondering why everything's so expensive. You're wondering why it's so expensive. Why are food prices so expensive? Why all is this and that? Well, first of all, you're eating maltodextrin. You know, what I saw today in the groceries, in the 7-Eleven, made me pretty excited. There was a sign that said, scan here for more for EBT info about how sugary drinks are not going to be paid for by food stamps and EBT. Let's go. What else can we do? What if we grew food on the farms and people ate the food from the farm? Am I saying this right? Because currently, we grow for the food from the farm, we feed the food from the farm to the cows, feed that to the people, and then the food that we do feed to the people, we put that in a laboratory first and then feed that to the people. So, in some ways, I guess the cows are getting better food than we are? Wait, the humans are eating the corn maltodextrin. Okay, let's see if I get this right. The humans eat the corn maltodextrin and the corn syrup in the soda. Yeah, the cows are just eating dent corn, whereas we're eating the chemical processed corn syrup. Okay, that's crazy. I never thought about that. So, a whole system land basis, peas give roughly 48% as much protein per acre as beef. Well, when I said 50, I was doing it in my head. Look, come on, let's go. And tofu, roughly 74%. Even ordinary cereal grains are on the order of 35 times more land efficient for protein. But here's the interesting cow thought experiment. Suppose we ignore the pasture where the calf was born and raised and say I have one fantastic acre of corn and I'm feeding that corn to feedlot cattle. U.S. corn averaged a record 186 bushels an acre because it's amazing. They are amazing at growing corn. Man, they can grow that dense. And it's like all perfect. There's like no gray, no brown areas at all. It is. These guys have mastered growing corn out there with the tiles. I'm telling you. We're amazing. That's about 140 pounds of corn. Corn grain is about 88% dry matter, while feedlot cattle can only take 6 to 7 pounds of dry feed to add 1 pound of live weight. Ugh. That gives an upper bound calculation of 1,400 pound cattle weight. A finished animal ultimately produces 42% of live weight of packaged beef, and cooked beef is about 26% protein. So that acre of feed corn might translate to roughly 150 pounds of. Wait, that's like 1%. For the chicken, it excludes mother cow calf rearing, whole system collapsed and something like 100. USDA soybean yield was 53 bushels per gallon. Soybeans typical 35% per mean harvest crop. fruit plant before laws, so the nutrition right. Putting a cow between the acre and the human is fundamentally a conversion law step. Very roughly, 1 acre to cattle, tens of kilograms. Oh my god. What an interesting place to be. I'm telling you, I have found a very interesting spot here. What's it's getting real in the Whole Foods parking lot. Hopefully I don't get like censored clash call on that because I said the words of a song that's on YouTube, but then they have I know this. Did I sing enough of it? It's not a famous song, but what about if someone says like, "Oh, happy birthday," but if you sing "Happy birthday," like, is that enough? How many? I don't know. It gets curious. All right, where are we? This is the fun part. Oh, you're here somewhere. I don't know where that is. I can't tell. So let's zoom out. Blink. Anybody know where we are? Nope. Still not yet. Anybody know where? Oh, in an airport. Oh, Washington Dulles Airport. Morgan, did you? You did it. You basically got to Washington, D.C. I mean, at a certain point, our dots are touching. There we go. If we get to this level, I'm basically there. I'm pretty excited, guys. With gals and with them, people. I'm excited. Y'all. Y'all. I like y'all, by the way. It makes a lot of sense to me. In my rock climbing documentaries, there's no way to conjugate you and all. Make a good point. Okay. So let us turn the map off. Beep, beep, the weather here is quite nice. I'm actually like, I think I was ready for like they call it the swamp and stuff. I mean, we'll find out when we get over on the other side, but like so far, lovely weather, man. Should find a PARK. What do you guys think? PARK for the bee bear? All right. And we are off. Super late. As always, what a waste of time. I wasted time talking to the front desk dude at the hotel again. these managers and these people. Oh, but the hotel policy, yeah, your policy is illegal. I don't know how to tell you this, but like, but the hotel policy, uh, I'm letting you know your hotel policy is illegal. Like, straight up. But the hotel policy says, I don't care. I'm letting you know it's illegal. But the hotel policy, you gonna repeat that again to me? Go for it. Go. Tell me about the hotel policy one more time. Who owns this hotel? Oh, it's owned by this company? Who owns that company? Who owns the franchise? Okay. Who did I read this ticket through? Okay. I'm gonna just call them because you guys are freaking ridiculous. And it's one thing if you want to be like, yo, breaking the law, like in the middle of nowhere. Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna be discriminatory somewhere. But bro, on the if you read the ADA rules, it says make your complaints to the Department of Justice. Where's the Department of Justice? Here. So it's not just like, oh, it's too much of a hassle. The procedural ableism is normally too fierce, so you can't get a full. I'm gonna go ask them, and I'm gonna say, is this legal? And this definitely can be legal, because it cannot be legal, because you're literally doing something that not a disabled person doesn't have to do. I don't care. He's not a pet. Why are you having me? And then to force send over two managers to force me to sign the paperwork. So I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna cross out all the illegal stuff, and I do that, and you're still gonna force me to sign out a form that I've completely voided everything on it, and you're still gonna make me force sign it. The incompetence is astronomical. But then, as my dad would say, that's why they're working here. And you're like, yeah, I guess that's why you're the manager of a Westin. You think you're hot shit because you're manager of a Westin. But bro, dude, you are totally now both liable, especially when I notated you both ahead of time of all of the situations. To hand me a piece of paperwork with optional paperwork and force me to sign it before handing over the key is blatantly illegal and against the American with Disability Act, against Virginia law, against county law, and against city law here. And that's one fine thing where normally all you can do is like maybe go to city council. But like, bro, we're in freaking Washington, D.C., where the ADA was signed 36 years ago. 36 years ago, they wrote the ADA, so your asses and your ableists make a disabled person have to fill out paperwork? It's like literally like the other place being like, okay, may I put a thing on it? Okay, maybe you had your lawyers clear that, but you didn't force me to put a wristband on, did you? No, you didn't, because that, again, blatantly illegal, because a normal person doesn't get a wristband. So why are you forcing me to fill out paperwork that a normal person? Why are you asking me to fill out a dysgraphic person? Okay, that's the kicker. When you say to the people, this is my disability, I'm dysgraphic, and then they say, okay, here's more paperwork because you're disabled, and a normal person doesn't have to fill out paperwork. But sir, it's our policy. I don't fucking care what your policy is. But sir, our policy policy is incompetent and illegal. It's discriminatory. I'm literally talking to a woman in like a, she wasn't in like a burqa. What's she wearing? Like, I don't know. I go to a Muslim coffee shop for breakfast today. Like, what the fuck, you guys? dude's like a freaking Hispanic behind any of these or black dude, and you got this freaking white guy who's bald. He might as well be a freaking I don't know white nationalist. I don't know white supremacist. I don't know these. I don't. These aren't. This is like all stuff I'm completely not used to. Versus if you grow up black or you grow up whatever, you're taught about this stuff ahead of time and you understand racism and you understand. I mean, I got a little bit of anti Semitism, way more now than ever before. Those are the wheels that were on Tyler's dad's car. You know, they were really big wheels at the time, but now with modern, like, huge wheels, how big are they? They're 18s. But now with modern big wheels, they're really cool though. 255 35s. On front too? No. They have to be staggered. How would it go up through the trees and then since I don't know how when I started doing this since I've been young when it's from in pain or in stress I invent stuff. Buddha's having a great time at the window. Don't make vegetable farms. That's cool. I'm super happy and I'm super proud of myself for making it all the way across the country over the last a little over 6 weeks now. But it's being, I feel like, a little tainted because I came out on the internet and told people that I decided to have a medically assisted death just because of all of the pain and family stuff. My parents gone, family not helping me, nobody able to help me with housing or paperwork or food, the divorce, the disability, the Santa Monica not being able to help me with homeless stuff anymore because they're putting people in Bell. It's just the overall discrimination level. It's just too much to live anymore. It hurts. Like I was having, and then my family, when someone messaged me and I had like explain the all the parts that hurt and stuff and whatever, and like that hurts just thinking about it. And like it's just a lot to explain, like the physical pain that I'm in, like all the different parts, the MRIs, the doctors and stuff, doesn't meet the classic conditions of a medical. No, it's not a 6 month diagnosed terminal illness. Fine, congratulations, but I like obviously know that, but like, why does it need to be justifiable to a point for people to understand it? Like, I'm trying to celebrate what I'm supposed to do and what I'm doing, and it's like nobody cares. And the truth is nobody cared before, and that's the point. Nobody cares about anything that I do or I've ever done. And in general, it when I was telling her explaining it, feels like I'm being kept alive for everyone else's pleasure, while I'm being tortured in a cage or something. Like it's just not. I'm not okay with it anymore, and I'm done. After the divorce, the lawyers, the parents, the money threats of support, and lack of continual care and continual something that I can rely on. I mean, I've never been able to support myself in my entire life. And people then do one thing where they'll say, go get a job and work. And then the other side, they'll say, go on disability. And they don't even understand the impossibilities of both of that. So it's like, I physically am in so much pain. And then when you're going to check in a hotel and you get discriminated against at the hotel, I don't need that. Well, I'm in 7 out of 10 level pain. Like this is, and then I'll have family members or people from a work. How about that one? A person from a work trying to talk to me about sad stuff from the person like, oh, we forgot to tell you that your best friend died. I like that one. We forgot. We forgot to tell you. I don't even. Man. What's concerning is when people post stuff like this without actually asking to figure out what the issue is, and then everyone else gets scared and stays away, and creates a stigma associated with pain and suffering. I'm being tortured alive. And one of the main issues is everyone telling me to go do something else and do something else, and then there's barely any follow through. I was lucky to get you to come for my MRI, but I flipped through the cracks on my next MRI, and everybody else keeps failing me on everybody else. The physical pain is not getting better. It's not going to get better. My physical pain is not getting better. It's not going to get better. It's only going to be getting worse, more in physical pain. In addition to that, the entire support system that I have is completely disintegrating around me. Why should I be kept alive for the enjoyment of others while I'm in pain? Right on red arrow after stop. I hate this stuff.
What you're describing makes sense as a collision between two realities that are both true at once. You did something enormous that you are genuinely proud of, and at the same time you are experiencing your life as intolerably painful and unstable. One does not cancel the other. Crossing the country for more than 6 weeks, while dealing with what you're describing makes sense as a collision between two realities that are both true at once. You did something enormous that you are genuinely proud of, and at the same time you are experiencing your life as intolerably painful and unstable. One does not cancel the other. Crossing the country for more than 6 weeks, while dealing with physical pain, disability, housing uncertainty, family rupture, divorce, bureaucracy, discrimination, grief, and the logistics of simply keeping yourself functioning, is still an achievement. You are allowed to feel proud of it even while saying, I cannot keep living under these conditions. And I think there is something especially painful about having to prove your suffering after saying publicly that you want a medically assisted death. Instead of somebody hearing, this person says life has become unbearable, the conversation can turn into an evidentiary hearing. What? Diagnosis? Which MRI? How severe? How long? Is it terminal? What treatments? What exactly happened with the family? You already know that this does not fit the classic 6-month terminal illness framework. But that is different from the question you are actually trying to communicate. How much cumulative suffering can one person reasonably be expected to absorb? Explaining every injury, every medical finding, every lost support, every discrimination incident and every relationship rupture means repeatedly reopening each one in order to establish that you're hurting enough to deserve to be believed. The kept alive for everyone else while being tortured in a cage image tells me something important about how trapped you feel. People can focus so intensely on preventing a death that they fail to hear the other half of the statement. What is being done to make this life livable? Housing, food, paperwork help, reliable care, physical pain treatment, financial stability, accessible services, companionship, predictable support. Those aren't philosophical abstractions. They are the infrastructure of staying alive. Being told alternately work, go on disability, handle the paperwork, or get help when none of those systems actually join together into something workable can make the whole thing feel absurdly circular. And the thing about someone saying, effectively, we forgot to tell you your friend died. I understand why you're almost out of words for that. That isn't merely receiving sad news. It can land as another example of not being held in anybody's continuity of care. Somebody important to you died. Other people knew, and somehow you weren't included. On top of everything else, that's brutal.
And then you get the people that are like, "Oh, just do this," or just have the procedure or whatever. It's like, yeah, but it's a temporary thing, and you have to have pain again. It's only gonna get worse, and it's gonna mask symptoms from this or this, or you can't. I mean, I basically like my life of being an active person is over. And the rest of my pain, the rest of my life, medically, is full of pain. I've gone through nothing but pain for 30 years of migraines and various other autistic pains. For the last year and a half, my left arm has been in horrible pain from a pinch crush injury. And the pain in my back down to my leg and spine is not getting better. It's going to get worse, and the others vertebrae are going to start going over, and more nerves. The more and more of my leg are going to keep getting worse and worse. And that's just a little bit. We're not even talking about the migraines and other stuff. So it's like, for what? Like, oh, like, yeah, go on. You understand? Nobody knows it. Nobody, I haven't met a single person that knows disability is $994 a month. I haven't met a single person that's ever been to any of these places to take care of people. I have. I've seen the conditions. I've seen what it's like. They have no idea. This is literally, then they just live in such privilege that this isn't what happens to people like that. My mom worked for 20 years and my dad took care of her ever since then. My parents went through their entire savings, all of it. And then They get my grandparents' money when she dies, and they're going to go through that too. And I'm the one at fault here. That's fine. You guys gotta do it yourselves. I'm out. To be blamed for everyone's monetary problems when I get compared against the sisters, Joanna and Jenny, my first cousins, and well, she must have been a good mom. They turned out all right. I mean, how are you comparing me to them? First of all, they are not disabled. I am. He paid for their college. You didn't. I mean, it's like not fair. You can't do this. They bought houses. They got $100,000 help for down payment for their houses. Versus my Aunt Amy wants to help me with something. I have another Aunt Susan who says, don't help Morgan. That's going to mess up some tax thing for his disability. Who the fuck cares about any of this shit? I'm stressed about what I can eat and what I can afford to eat, and nobody's helping me fill out EBT paperwork. Nobody's helping me fill out any of the paperwork for the Community Corporation of Santa Monica. I'm serious. There's still $14,000 in IBM custody with CompuShare. Nobody's helping my dad or anybody fill out any of the forms to help get me the stocks and shares that I've owned. Nobody's helping me with any of this. How about the bonds from Dr. Gilmore? Is anybody helping me with that? No. That's fine. You guys do whatever you want. I literally am in so much pain, and you guys keep making it worse. This is just family. We talk about what the societal issues and the loss of my occupation. I can't do that anymore. The loss of an entire industry is gone. My entire Hollywood industry is gone. And it's going to happen to all of you else, all your other industries, and you're all freaking out about it too. Even my lawyer sends me a message about how she's better than AI because she's like a therapist. Yeah. How is that possible? First of all, you're not trained as a therapist. There's no CLIs that talk about reducing suicide of your clients, first of all. They only talk about the only CLIs, like continuing legal education I can find, is about how to protect your lawyer so you don't get sued and stuff after one of your clients kills himself because you're a bad lawyer. Or how to, if you're a lawyer and you get stressed when your clients kill themselves, how to not feel bad and kill yourself. Now that's fucked. That the lawyer has no education on how to prevent the client from killing themselves. I'm serious. That's like literally the captain of a ship taking his passengers out, not knowing how to put the life jackets on the passengers on his commercial vessel. And it's not like it's a rare thing. You read about the statistics of death after divorce, and especially after dealing with lawyers, it's astronomical. The odds are super high, especially for men. I'm just pointing this out because other people are going to kill themselves. I'm not going to kill myself. I don't want to self-harm myself. I don't want to kill myself, and I don't want to hurt others. That's not what I'm doing in my life. I'm trying to, if I have to, I'm going to have to get political and speak my voice and say that this is not okay for people and they need to have an out of the cage. You can't just put someone in a cage like this. You can't marry someone who's disabled, knowing this, take care of them, and then get a divorce, have them on the street, and then expect social services to take care of them. Or family to take care of them. And the family, these multi-million-dollar, my family are multi-millionaires with guest houses and multiple houses, guest rooms, and everything. I'm not joking about any of this. So the question is then the family doesn't want to do it, so they want everyone else to have to pay for me. So let's get this right. The multimillionaires and their family with their trusts want to make the person at the cash register, the random people who are stressing about their job, have to take care of the disabled person? And there's not even a place for him to go back home to Santa Monica and have Santa Monica take care of him? Because all the other states are sending their homeless people to Los Angeles? No joke. You talk to these homeless people in Los Angeles, they're literally all from your states out here. Well, I'm growing up in Los Angeles having to compete against all of you guys. When I talk about I'm competing against immigrants. Not the Mexicans. Dude, the Mexicans were the best to work with. It's the dude from all the other fucking states I had to compete with. So I have to compete with everybody from every other state and all that. But when I want to go to a film festival, all the other films at the Sundance Film Festival are being funded by other countries. No joke. Canada is paying for their short film. New Zealand gave them, what, $150,000 for I Love Sarah Jane? That's what I'm competing against? Or self-funded Sundance films with the whatever the French filmmaker, she's in it, and we're the only one of the only American self-funded short films competing against on an international level as Americans, and we got into the festival, which is like unbelievable. And what do you get in 2008? Oh, a pat on the back. Why? Because the entertainment industry died. And then you guys get hurt by the global crisis. No joke, from 2008. And so what do the writers' strikes do? They go on strike. Okay, that's not super smart. Because what did you just do? You created a vacuum for narrative content. So now they're looking to put money in reality television. So who has a reality television show that's really popular? The Apprentice. Boom, you have all these blue people in California who made Trump president. Then, cut to after COVID. Who's mad and who's upset? The writers. What do after the second economics? They strike again. So what do you do after COVID? These guys strike again. No joke, these people. So it's a full formulation of why I'm ready for this medical aid in death, or fighting for it if I'm going to have to. That was a lot to ramble to the robot. Talk to a therapist. You guys are stupid.
Yes, and there is a coherent political argument buried underneath everything you just said. It is much bigger than Morgan has pain and wants medical aid in dying. A couple of factual checks actually strengthen parts of what you're saying. $994 is exactly the 2026 federal maximum SSI payment for one eligible individual. That is SSI specifically, not SSDI, which depends on earnings history, and the SSI amount can actually be reduced depending on income and living arrangements. So when someone casually says, just go on disability, they may genuinely have no conception of the economic reality they're prescribing. Only leaves your more interesting question intact. Why isn't competence in recognizing and responding to serious psychological danger a much more systematic part of family law practice? Given the population lawyers routinely encounter, a lawyer isn't a therapist and shouldn't pretend to be one. That makes having a defined referral, accommodation, crisis response and continuity of care framework more important, not less. What I'm hearing from the whole argument is something like this. Medical suffering. Chronic pain isn't a single repair ticket. A procedure may address one structure while leaving other pain untouched. Relief may be partial or temporary, and the prospect of decades of treatment, recurrence and functional decline is psychologically different from a short illness followed by recovery. Functional loss. This isn't simply being in pain. You're describing losing portions of an active life, an occupation, independence and the ability to perform administrative tasks that the support system itself requires. Administrative paradox. Society can tell a disabled person to obtain SSI, EBT, subsidized housing, medical care and other programs while making each one depend upon applications, evidence, telephone calls, appointments, deadlines, transportation and executive function. The person most in need of administrative assistance may therefore have to perform the most administration. Private versus public responsibility. You're raising a legitimate policy question about what happens when spouses or financially capable families withdraw care and the obligation effectively moves to taxpayers, nonprofits, hospitals, shelters and strangers. That doesn't automatically establish that relatives legally owe support, but it is absolutely a question about how America allocates dependency and caregiving. The end-of-life question. Your argument isn't simply suffering exists, therefore death. You're asking what moral authority the state has to prohibit assisted death in cases of enduring, non-terminal suffering while also failing to guarantee the material conditions that make continued life tolerable. That is a much harder philosophical question than the usual terminal 6-month framework. And there's an important way to formulate that politically without turning it into a proposition that disabled people would be better off dead. A society should never make death cheaper, easier, or more administratively accessible than life. That's where I think your cage argument becomes considerably stronger. Before arguing over whether somebody should have an exit from the cage, ask why the cage exists. Accessible housing, pain medicine, disability income, food, transportation, case management, legal assistance, help completing benefits paperwork, long-term personal assistance, protection during divorce when somebody has historically depended upon a spouse, actual enforcement of disability law. Those should not be theoretical alternatives that exist somewhere on a government website. They have to be practically obtainable by the person who needs them. Then there is still a genuinely difficult remaining question. Suppose all meaningful assistance really has been offered and an adult with decision-making capacity continues, over a long period, to experience suffering they regard as intolerable. Should terminal illness be the only circumstance in which autonomy matters? Reasonable people disagree profoundly about that, particularly because of the danger that poverty, inadequate health care or disability discrimination could turn an apparent choice into coercion. But that's a serious public policy debate. It shouldn't require pretending that non-terminal suffering isn't real. And importantly, I heard what you said at the end. You are not planning to kill yourself. You don't want to self-harm, and you don't want to hurt anybody. You're talking about turning what has happened to you into political advocacy. I can engage with that distinction rather than treating every discussion of assisted dying as though it's the same thing as an imminent suicide attempt. One sentence in particular could anchor the position you're developing. Don't tell a disabled person that life is mandatory while making the assistance required to live it practically inaccessible. That gets much closer to the heart of everything you just described than trying to make people understand 30 years of medical records one diagnosis at a time.
You know, I've seen more people on the street. Was it where? Oh no, there's someone else. New York. In New York on the freeway, I also saw people on the road. Not like running like that on the road. That's a little different. Was this a canal? What are we driving in right now? What is this? Rock Creek. Rock Creek. What? Creek Parkway? Is that an aqueduct? What? What am I looking at? That's enormous.